Welcome to Your Life Podcast, the place where life becomes that little bit simpler. Thanks for joining me on the Your Life Podcast. I'm Angela Lockwood, and in this episode, I'm interviewed by Luke and Susie of The Luke and Susie Show. One thing that's always fascinated me is how we make decisions, and this led me to writing my first book, The Power of Conscious Choice. You see, making decisions, it's something we do every day, but it can make us feel uneasy, unsure, even uncomfortable. But it doesn't need to be that way. In this episode, I share simple ways you can approach decision making so you can make confident choices. Enjoy!
It's Luke and Susie with you for Faith, Family, Culture. And Luke, it seems that every month there's a series of significant decisions that need to be made about life. Am I going to stay on this track? Am I going to change track? What am I going to do with the children? Things that are happening. What are we going to do with our savings? Are we going to save? How much are we going to save? There's multiple...
You're freaking me out right now,
There's
Suze.
multiple little decisions that happen all the time, but there's big decisions that are happening all the time. But how do you know if you're making the right choice?
Okay, you don't listen to Susie right now, because if you were confident you were on the right track with your choice, you're now nervous. Susie's scaring us all. Making confident choices, our topic of conversation. Next. Sounds like our next guest was really needed, Suze, when you were talking about the whole decision-making process, because it sounds like you might have been nervous having her on the show and you weren't sure whether or not you should have her talk about this topic.
Well, she's got a book called The Power of Conscious Choice, so that kind of helped clarify this decision. Talking about making confident choices today, Angela Lockwood, how are you?
I am fantastic, thank you. And do you know what, with decision-making, Susie, I'm going to make you feel a lot better.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted.
You can never be 100% certain that a decision's going to turn out. So you never can be 100% certain that the choice you're making is the best one.
Okay, so far you're not helping.
No, it
Angela.
is, because in that case, so you might as well just make a choice, right? If you don't know the outcome, you might as well just make a choice.
Right.
I find that freeing.
Really, it's an act in trying to predict the unknown. Really, if you look at decision making, you're wanting to decide something, and you have no idea if it's the best outcome or not. In one way, that can be quite anxiety laden. But on the other side, it can also be, well, I'll just make a choice and see what happens. Yeah. And that's the thing that fascinates me about how we make decisions, which is why I wrote the book in the first place, is I think, why do people make the choices that they make? How come sometimes things work out really well and other people can make exactly the same choice, but it just goes totally belly up? And so I became really fascinated by watching people really make decisions, which is a bit weird, I know. But when you think about it, we can't make confident decisions in that we'd never know what the outcome is. So what we've got to do is scale it back. And there's something that I want to share with listeners that will help people make the best choice with the information that they have on hand.
Okay, cool. Let's unpack this. Making confident choices. Our guest right now is Angela Lockwood, the author of that book, which is all helping us through this decision-making process, The Power of Conscious Choice. It's not just about making a decision right now. It's actually being confident in it. More next with Luke and Susie.
Faith, Family, Culture. It's Luke and Susie with you. And I felt like we just had one of those, we're going to give you the secret to life after the break moments. We're back from the break. We're about to get the secret with our guest, Angela Lockwood, who's written the book, The Power of Conscious Choice, and also Switch Off. But we're talking about making confident choices today. Angela, what have you got for us?
Okay, the way we make decisions really brings in two different parts of our brain. One is our logic, and one is our intuition. Stick with me here.
Yep, okay.
What most people do is they make a decision based on one or the other. So they're either go and try to find and do all the research on everything they need to prove that their decision will work. Right. So that's very much logical. They do all their data, they do all their research. Or the other group of people will be really intuitively led. So they'll go with their gut. You might have heard that before, that I can feel it, I know it's the right decision. So when we make decisions based on all logic or all intuition, what usually happens is the outcome of our choice is not the best because we just go with one or the other. If people can make confident choices, they can bring in their logic and their intuition and then make the best choice. So they bring in both, they do their research, they take the time to find out, maybe do your pros and cons, get the information that you need. If it's a move to an area, is it the best area for us? If it's a new job, is this really going to help me with my goals? And then take the time to step back from all the research and then listen to your intuition and go, now that I know what I know, what is the next best step for me?
Yeah.
So it's doing this lovely dance between logic and intuition that'll help you make the most confident choice. But people really need to realise that we never know if it's going to be the best outcome or if it's going to work. So just have the confidence, back yourself and go for it with what information you have on hand.
Such an interesting topic, because I am a logic decision maker, but I have a lot of instinct, I have a lot of gut, I have a lot of intuition, but everything has got to be based on logic and research and data. And I had a manager who said to me, you got to learn to trust your gut a little bit more. Like you're really tuned in with what you're doing, and don't always have to have research to back you, because sometimes you kind of know beyond the research. And he really spent his time just trying to encourage me to do this. A possibility of a project came up, and I said, I think we need to do it. And he goes, it's not the right time. We don't have enough resources. And I said, I know all that. I've gone through the logic, but you told me to go with my gut, and this is purely an instinct thing. I can't argue with you as to why we should do this. I've gone through the logic, and it doesn't make sense. I just have a feeling. And we went backwards and forwards 5 or 6 times. And I said, I can't. You're right. Logically, I'm with you. But you told me to trust my gut. Anyway, we went with it. It was a huge success. And about 5 minutes later, he goes, yeah, all right, you're right. You're right. But it was that concept. It was a logical decision. But the logical decision was there was no logic. That the logical decision was I'm going to trust the instinct.
Great. And that just perfectly shows you had one logical person and one intuitively led person. And when the two of you came together, that is the best confident step that you could have made, the best confident decision you could have made, because you've both looked at it from both angles. And that's why in teams, in organisations and businesses, it's great to have a mixture of personalities in them. Because when you have a mixture of personalities, then you've got the logic, you've got the intuition, and then the outcome is usually a well-rounded, well-thought-through outcome. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the best decision. It doesn't mean that it's going to work out how you all want, but it's about making that confident choice, which is what we're talking about today.
Excellent.
Yeah, and in the end, I could have just said, well, if it didn't work, well, you told me to go with my gut. You were it was clearly your fault.
It's so easy to deflect responsibility when things don't work out. It's brilliant.
Hands off. Your fault, my friend. Our guest right now is just helped us to navigate making confident choices, the author of The Power of a Conscious Choice, Angela Lockwood. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. To find more ways to slow down and simplify your life, follow the Your Life podcast on Spotify and iTunes. And let's connect on LinkedIn and Instagram. Just look for Angela Lockwood. Don't forget, it's your life. You choose how to live it.